Everybody, welcome back to Scales of Safety with me, Pete Collins. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the hierarchy of control. We really know this in industry as a couple of things. One of the main ones we hear is the fact that people use ERICPD. So, this has been something around since my early days of safety, but in recent years, it's actually changed slightly in higher tier risk analysis. And we refer to it as ESEAP or ESEAP, really. And that is the eliminate, substitute, engineering, admin, and PPE. So this is the hierarchy that we will be looking to implement in our further action column when it comes to the NG2 submission. To get you on the basis of it, let's think of something really, really basic. And let's say travelling on highways England. Now, we will have things such as, when we lock down, we were told to do this type of work where we work virtually. So if we were thinking about the risk being driving on the highways and working virtually, that would eliminate any of that risk having to conduct your duties travelling to and from work from driving on the highways. Substitution then. So the next level down will be substitution measures. And really off the bat thinking about it, we might substitute the way we travel. So it would say right now, workers, when it comes into really serious weather, and if we're going to travel from a set of employees to another destination within our corporation, another site within our country, as opposed to then saying, right, lots of workers would then have to go travel in their own vehicles, I would provide a bus for people to travel on from one employment place to the other. So I've substituted there the need to drive, but actually there the need for me to put on, and that's the likelihood there, a nice safe coach journey for my employees to travel to another site. Now, engineering controls, when we look at these in Highways England, an engineering control really would be stopping you in your tracks. It sort of puts you at bay where we're not relying on people, we're relying on really things, equipment, machinery. So if you think of engineering controls on a vehicle driving across the highways, this could be something really such as an ABS system, an automatic brake system that would brake when someone brake tests you. So it stops you already. It doesn't rely on people. It's the process of equipment and machinery, like the sensors. So that's where we look at more of and then if you think of the basics really, a central reservation stops you going on the other side of the highway there. It will stop you in your tracks. Typically, guards on machinery, that type of thing. If you're going back into substitute in industry, you'd look to replace one for another for something that's less harmful. So substitute and engineering are really more things that stop you in your tracks. Substitute is one for another, and actually there are benefits to it. I feel like I'll bring this to you in another separate video. But then we have our administrative control. Now, if you think of it, Highways England is very heavily reliant on administrative controls. Speed cameras are going to they don't stop you physically speeding. You can do 120 past the speed camera, best at your own ability, and look there, because you'll get pulled by the camera. You'll be sent through a fine from the post, and you'll probably have to attend court. So this is more administrative, and it comes from rules, documents, and procedures, such as the Health and Safety at Work Act, or regulations, or written rules, procedures, standard operating procedures, safe systems of work we refer them to. Could be simply an instruction. We're told not to jump red lights on the highways, right? You shouldn't do it. But people do it. It's an administrative control. The red light says stop, you wait. Same with the zebra crossing. We wait for little Mrs. Nesbitt to cross the road because the Highways Road Traffic Act tells us we should do it, but morally, it's the right thing to do for little Mrs. Nesbitt there. So they're your administrative controls, service, maintenance, insurance, MOT. These are all things that some cars won't have on the highways. They're administratively controlled. And then finally, PPE, the last line of defence. Well, you might say there that PPE in a very basic state is your gloves, your hats, your boots, etc. But Highways England, a crash helmet for a Formula One driver, fire retardant overalls are levels of PPE that they protect them. They're the last line of defence. But then if you think of seatbelt, where is that? 10 seconds on the clock, please. Some of you may have said engineering. Some of you may have said administrative. Some of you may have said PPE. The law comes under administrative control to wear the seatbelt. We know we should do it. It actually stops us going through the windscreen. Therefore, it's engineering. If we were to look at it as PPE, PPE is very much the fact that you don't take your seatbelt to your car and fit it, do you? No. You wait and you get in the car and you apply it. That's the engineering control there. Similarly, like a beacon on a flashing truck would be administrative, because the beacon is there to tell us, yo, I'm moving. The blues and twos, when they come by, we know to move out of the way of those blues and twos. So it's more administrative. End of line, in a summary for you. Elimination, it's gone. Substitution, one for another. Engineering stops you in your tracks, it's more prevent. Administrative, it's a rule of thumb, it's a documented procedure by the employer or by law and legislation. And finally, PPE, last line of defence, it's the one thing that's really going to protect you if all else fails. So, this is why I really refer to say make the environment safe than have to rely on people to make it safe. That was just a quick short clip there around the hierarchy of control. We call it ESEAP, or in industry, ERICPD. Thank you very much for your time. Scales of Safety, Pete Collins. Thank you.